Don't be so, don't be so,
Hey Reese, you still there?
don't be so, don't be so, don't be so, don't be so.
Hey, I appreciate everybody coming out today. Appreciate the Cali Take family. Appreciate the YouTube world, everybody. Appreciate you always. Hey, let's just go ahead and jump right into this here. So I understand Clippers fans. I know right now it doesn't look good. It doesn't look promising. It doesn't look like a good future. It doesn't look like, a lot can be done. It doesn't look like, there's any light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't look like there's, a way. But, to be optimistic about the situation, and last night's video, I was saying it possibly could be over. It just might be over. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that's a probability. Of course, that's something that you have to think about as a Clippers fan, right now at this point, because, just the way things have went and, how last night ended up, Kawhi took a bad shot at the end. I think he was losing his footing. The reason why the shot didn't look as good, and he couldn't get the shot to go how he wanted to, at least hit the rim or anything. And he didn't have a great game yesterday. And we have to understand it's a lot to ask a guy to go out there and put up 30, 40 points every game, and carry the team and play magnificent defense. The reason why Luka's able to put up 30, 40 points every game because he doesn't play any defense. He doesn't really even, a lot of times when you look at Luka, he doesn't even really try on defense. So he's not using no energy on the defensive end at all because that's not his game. And that's not how, he carries himself on the court. He's an offensive machine, whether it's assisting somebody or scoring himself with a step back three or whatever he does. So it's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of everything, it's a lot of everything that goes into being a complete player. You know what I'm saying? So and we look at Kawhi as a complete player, and we look at Kawhi as like a superhero type player, superstar, who can do everything, but he ran out of gas a little bit in the late third quarter to me. I feel like when Paul George got that fourth foul, I feel like that really kind of, flipped the game to a degree because Paul George was handling the ball and, he had, better opportunities to score. I think his matchup was better. I think he had a little bit of Finney Smith on him, a little bit of Tim Hardaway Jr. And I feel like, he was exploiting those matchups pretty good, because at some point for a little stint there, Paul George was carrying the team a little bit. And, that's how it's supposed to be. One player carries the team until the other one picks up, or sometimes it's the one superstar's game and not the other one. That's just how it goes. But that fourth foul that he got where he had to sit down really changed the complexity of the game. And they just loaded up the paint on Kawhi Leonard. He couldn't really get in the paint the way he wanted to. And we have to blame Kawhi on that one a little bit because, when they playing zone defense and load up the paint on you, that's when you gotta use your 17-foot jumper. And I know Kawhi is trying to be aggressive and everything like that, but sometimes there is a such thing as being overly aggressive. And if there's, Boban or Kristaps Porzingis and Finney Smith, and you're being guarded by Luka, three guys in the paint waiting on you to come in there, that's when you have to use your deadly 17-foot mid range, to kind of break the defense some. Now I know Kawhi, he was struggling so a little bit, so I definitely gotta give him a pass on that one a little bit. But I mean, hey, for the most part, he didn't play, up to expectation how we thought he would. And, Kawhi, I mean, Paul George really didn't either. Paul George had a little spurt where he, played decent, but, it wasn't like neither one of them really dominated in the game. You know what I'm saying? They played good enough to win, I think, because both of them had 20 plus points. And I think five starters were in double figures. So to me, the Clippers played good enough to win that game. I just was really questionable about that last play where they got the ball back and Terrence Mann I still think Terrence Mann should have went up for that layup. You know what I'm saying? I still think I still think Terrence Mann, you know what I'm saying, could have finished that layup and maybe got an and one. But then again, I feel like Nicholas Batum could have finished that 1 foot shot under the rim. You know, I think that he probably would hit like 9 times out of 10. You know, so it's a lot we can dissect in the game and look at, you know, a lot of different things that could have happened. But at the same time, you know, you have to look at it. The Clippers were right there. The Clippers were right there. You know, Dallas has a 10-point lead with 2 minutes to go, and the Clippers are down 1 point. I mean, they literally score like 9 points in like 40 something seconds, 50 seconds almost. You know, and it's amazing that the Clippers have that type of offense where they can do that. I mean, it's just really crazy. Like if this team puts together a really good defensive strategy and stick with it the whole game, I think they will be fine. Because how they played in game 3 and game 4, they played magnificent on the defensive end. They played, especially game 4, you know, they played really good. You know, they locked down a lot of the Finney Smiths and Tim Hardaway Jr.'s. They made it hard for them. They made it tough for them. Luka still had 44 and 9, but like I said, that's different. That's much different than him having 44 and 15. If Luka has 39 points and 7 assists, well, the Clippers win that game last night because Luka's being effective, but he's not being that effective. You don't never want Luka Doncic to have double digit assists. You want him to stay in the single digits if possible. Or if he has double digit assists, let him have like 25 points and 12 assists. Because you probably can win the game that way because he's not overly killing you on the offensive end, which he's, you know, very, very skilled. You know, so this is a really, really interesting series. You know, nobody's won a home game yet. Dallas has the potential to win the first home game in this series and take the series, which is, you know, highly likely in most analysts' minds. I'm pretty sure they're going to fill your brains today with a lot of BS that you don't want to hear. So if you can, you know what I'm saying, try not to listen to too much, or if you do listen to it or hear it, don't let it get to you because, you know, it's not over till it's over, you know. So to be optimistic, you know, the percentages and the odds of the Clippers winning are bad. Because they always say who wins game 5, 70 or 80% of the time they win the series. So, but you know, that it's a reason why that's not 100% of the time because there are times where a team, you know, has risen to the occasion to come back and force a game 7 and take a game 7 and take the series. So, you know, you have to kind of be optimistic about that. But I do understand Clippers fans, like, you know, it's not, you know, it's not the end of the world, but it feels that way because, you know, you expected them to go home and just put the nail in the coffin, basically. You know what I'm saying? Go home and put their foot down on the series and say, you know, this is our series. We're gonna win the next 2 games and we're going to the next round against Utah. But it's not like that in reality. It's different. You know, we understand that. But this is where we are right now. You know, like Kawhi said, this is where we are. You know, we expected to play better, but they didn't. And this is where we are in regards to what we have to do to, you know, try to win this series. You know, you have to take it 1 game at a time. And I do applaud Kawhi for saying that because, you know, he's been in situations like this where you're down and you just have to play as hard as you can. And we've seen the Clippers be down 30-11 in game 3 and come back and win that game. But I will say this, the Clippers better not get down 30-11 this time because I think if they get down 30-11 this time, I don't think they're going to come back. I don't because like I said, you're using way too much energy to get back in this series anyway when you shouldn't even have been down 0-2. Bare minimum, you should have been down 2-1, bare minimum. So, you know, it's going to be tough for the Clippers to go in Dallas. You know, everybody's going to be there in Dallas. It's a big game. And I'm pretty sure the odds makers and all the bettors and stuff like that have Luka and the Dallas Mavericks winning the series now. But like I said, Clippers fans, you know, don't hold your head down because like I said, mathematically, you're not eliminated until you're eliminated. And that's just the way it goes. That's just the way you have to look at it. And that's the way you have to approach the situation, you know. And hey, you know, I wish Kawhi Leonard would have played better. I wish Paul George would have played, you know, better. I wish they wouldn't have had those crucial turnovers that both of them had because I think both of them, between Kawhi and PG, they had the most crucial turnovers in that game that you can ever have. I mean, that game five last night felt like a game seven for the Clippers. And Kawhi and PG damn near laid an egg because they had some crucial turnovers at times where they just didn't need them. And, it's tough to be resilient all the time. It's tough to be resilient all the time. It's tough to come. It's tough to. It's hard to come back in a series where you feel like you should have been the team that was up anyway. And like I said, Dallas got a lot of momentum. Last night's game gave me more momentum and energy and confidence than what they even had before they entered last night's game. And I just think that extra day off, instead of them playing on Tuesday, playing on last night, Wednesday, gave Luka a little extra time to get healed and stuff like that. But it's going to be a dog fight tomorrow night. It really is. I think tomorrow night's game can, definitely go either way. I hope the Clippers pull it out, but I could see a score being 105 to 103. I can definitely see the score being something like that in tomorrow night's game. It's going to be a dogfight. I think the Clippers are going to come out with a lot of fight, but I definitely think Dallas is going to, you know, um, you know, come back, and it's going to be a really really interesting game. Everybody would love to see it go 7 games. This has been the best series, I think, in the playoffs so far. Between this one and the Phoenix Suns and the Lakers have been the best series. So we definitely just got to see how it goes, and we definitely got to see how they come out. I tell you, to me, the Clippers need to come out in the first quarter. They need to win the first quarter to give them the confidence to win tomorrow's game. And I'm saying that now. The first quarter doesn't, it's not the end all be all, but my thing is this: you gotta win the first quarter tomorrow. You can't be down 40 to 35 after the first quarter. You need to be up 40 to 35, or you need to be up 47 to 37, or, you know, 38 to 30 after the first quarter. The Clippers need to win the first quarter tomorrow night because I think that'll give them the confidence going forward that they can run that they can run different plays and give them confidence that their offense is flowing and they can just play defense how they're supposed to. Because I think when the Clippers are in control in games where they're up 10, 15 points, they play better on defense. They play better as a team. They play more consistent defense when they're shooting well, just as a lot of other teams do. But the Clippers, especially, that they thrive on that, and they just don't seem to always play well in the last waning parts of the game. There's 2-3 minutes left in the game. Their execution play wise is just horrible. And I think that falls on Ty Lue. I don't think Ty Lue is a good coach in regards to making those type of drawn up plays to that degree because they just don't the last stretches of games they just don't the last few minutes of a game they just don't execute plays the way they're supposed to. And that's exactly my thing. What I see what's wrong with the team and everything like that. But of course, that's something they've been dealing with pretty much throughout the season. And it just doesn't need to be happening in the playoffs. But hey, what I'm saying, it's a big game tomorrow. It's a big opportunity for the Clippers to right their wrongs. It's a big opportunity for them to get the game back to LA in the game 7. Now, I will say this. I think I'm not don't hold me to this, but I think if somehow the Clippers got the series back to LA, I don't think they'll lose a game 7. I don't think they'll lose a game 7 at home. I really don't. But I would love to see it go 7 games because I actually picked this series to go 7 games. But believe it or not, I did. I picked this series to go 7. I picked the Clippers to win in 7. Now, at first, I'll tell you this: I picked the Clippers to win in 6. At first, I did, but then I thought about it after like game 1 or game 2. That's when I came to my senses a little bit. I said this probably might go 7 games. I said I probably need to stick more towards 7 games than 6 games. But so I was kind of back and forth between that. So forgive me for that one. But at the same time, this is a crucial moment for the Clippers. This is their season on the line. This is their backs against the wall. Can they can they come back? Can they be a Floyd Mayweather? Floyd Mayweather's great with his back against the ropes. He actually fights really good with his back against the ropes or his back against a corner. He's a great counter defender type puncher. You know what I'm saying? He's a defensive fighter. So this is what this is the mentality the Clippers need to have. Be like Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Be backed into a corner, which that's where you are, and throw the necessary punches and time them and connect when you need to. Do what you have to do, bob and weave to get out the corner and get yourself in position to take over the series and win it. That's the mentality they got to have, you know. So, shout out to the Clippers, man. You know, they even though they had a lot of issues last night, they were right there to win it. And that's the optimism Clippers fans have to have. All the mistakes they made, all the turnovers, being down by 14, being down by 10 points with 2 minutes to go. It was a 1 point game with like 20 seconds in the game. It was a 1 point game after all they went through. That should give you a lot of confidence there, Clippers fans, because if a team was down by 14, well, in the beginning they were down by 8, I think in the first quarter or something like that, 7 or 8. Then they were down by 14 in the third quarter because of, they had a bad third quarter when PG went out, the late part of the third quarter. And then they were down by 10 with 2:13 to go in the game. And with 20 something seconds to go, they're down by 1 point. And if Terrence Mann goes up for that layup, or Nicholas Batum makes his 1 foot shot or 1 foot layup, we might be talking about a different series. We might be looking at it from a different perspective. So that's the confidence, we should look at, and Clippers fans should have. I think Kawhi Leonard will play better the next game. I think PG will too. Hopefully the other guys step up as well. But honestly, I'm really not worried about the Clippers offense that much. I'm just worried more about their defense. Defense is what's going to win this game, tomorrow night's game, and it's going to win the series if they can get that, because it's like Dallas makes the defensive stops when they need to. The first half, Dallas is trading blows back and forth offensively, but it seems like in the second half, Dallas buckles down on the defensive end when they need to. And that's what the Clippers need to do. Except the Clippers need to have a defensive mentality all 4 quarters, not 2 quarters, or not a quarter and a half, or a 5 minute stretch in a quarter. No, it needs to be better than that. It needs to be more concise than that. And hey, I've said it before, get the ball out of Luka's hands. If you got to double team Luka, I don't care if the other guys, if Finney Smith is going to hit 10 threes, or Tim Hardaway can hit 10, 12 threes, which, you might want to switch on Tim Hardaway too some, but let the other guys beat you. Don't let Luka have 40 points and 15 assists, because you're definitely not going to win that way. And you want to limit Luka as much as you can. If he can have 35 and 9 and 8, you can win tomorrow's game. You definitely can win tomorrow's game if he's somewhere in that range. But if he's 40, 41, 14 and 10, you're not going to win that game. And that's just the way it goes. But we'll see how tomorrow night's game go. Definitely be optimistic, Clippers fans. You know what I'm saying? There is reason to have optimism in this situation, because the Clippers shown that they can win on the road, and the Clippers shown that they actually can be, a deadly team shooting wise, offensive wise. And like I said last night, as much as they were down, I mean, with the last 2 minutes to go in the game, I didn't even think the Clippers were going to come back. I thought the Dallas Mavericks was going to win it easily, but the Clippers didn't lay down. They showed some fight, and that's what they're going to need to do tomorrow night, because they're going to need every bit from everybody. I don't care who it is on the roster. Throw everybody out on the roster. Even DeMarcus Cousins, put him out there some. Whatever you got to do, you got to find a way to win tomorrow night's game, and that's just the way it goes. And that's just my take on it. But hey, leave any comments in the comment section. You know how we always do. You the Cali Takes family. We a family. We always talk. We always engage. Let's do that. And hey, I'm always there to engage with you. And I appreciate your comments more than I appreciate mine. So hey, Cali out.